Welcome to the first episode of What in the World, a podcast dedicated to spreading awareness on climate change, the drastic consequences of it on the world, and how we can take action. I'm Raisa Ganji, your channel host and channel owner, and welcome to the first episode. Now, you may have wondered, why is it extremely cold or hot? Well, sorry to break it to you, but you're likely the cause of it. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, sorry, not sorry. Because of almost a century of detrimental anthropogenic activities, that is, human activities, your activities. I'm saying it as if I'm not human myself. Okay, our activities. So due to that, the world has tried to find a balance between what was normal and what is normal. And as a result of attaining an equilibrium, the world is undergoing global warming and rapid climate change, resulting in drastic changes to what was to give us what is. But why is it? So let's get started. According to the UN, climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns, the changing behavior of the atmosphere over long periods of time. Climate change is a result of a natural phenomenon known as global warming itself. This is a natural warming of the Earth with everything already present. Global warming is the natural warming of the Earth, which has been exacerbated through anthropogenic activities since the Industrial Revolution from the 18th century, and at the rate at which the world is warming up, it is catastrophic. So, how is that? The increased temperature is causing drastic changes to the world's climate. Now, you may be asking yourself, how does this affect me directly, either it being too cold to live or too hot to live where I am? Well, that's exactly it. Climate change is causing rapid changes in the world's natural weather patterns, not only making it difficult for us to live and survive, but for the entire animal, plant, and fungi species. If we were to mention Newton's third law of motion, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It can be applied in every aspect where energy is consumed and released through our activities. Now, this may be your average car ride, going to school, using the air conditioner, showering for long amounts of time, your bubble baths, or even your protein-based diets. Energy is consumed and exerted in every possible way, and this ultimately has severe consequences on our entire Earth. You see, each activity releases a certain amount of energy in the form of heat. So, heat energy. And where does this heat energy go? It is assimilated into our atmosphere. However, why can't the heat just exit the same way it came in? I mean, that's a valid question to be asking. Why can't it just leave the way it just came in? You see, the Earth's atmosphere is like a glass, yeah? So the energy that comes in doesn't exactly completely leave. Energy in the form of waves enters the Earth, and in the form of heat energy, it is absorbed. It is trapped within the Earth's atmosphere by gases already pre-existing in the atmosphere. We scientists call this pre-existing amount of gases in the atmosphere the background level of greenhouse gases already present. Greenhouse gases such as methane, water, hydrogen, chlorine are involved in the natural warming of the Earth. And that is what keeps the Earth habitable for living things and the rest of the planets impossible. These greenhouse gases trap the heat that is incoming and which is outgoing. So you may be asking, if the world is already naturally heating, technically global warming and climate change is a result of the natural process of the heating. One can ask, what happened to exacerbate this warming effect at an alarming rate? Increased industrial activities led to increased unmonitored pollution that resulted into releasing a lot of heat energy into the atmosphere. Naturally, the gases would retain this heat to keep the world warm enough. Now, the increased heat energy that was released into the atmosphere toyed with this natural equilibrium and natural process. The greenhouse gases naturally present worked to balance the large amount of heat energy already present. And with no stop to pollution, the amount of greenhouse gases released by industries also increased by more than threefold the normal background level. Eventually, the levels kept on increasing and continually keep on increasing. Climatologists say that global warming and climate change works in a positive feedback loop. How so? So the more the pollution is released, the more the heat is released. The more the pollution is released, the more the greenhouse gases are released. Greenhouse gases work to retain heat. The number of greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere has increased by 3 to 4 folds of its natural background level, and the heat release has increased as well. All of that will work together in a positive feedback loop, complementing each other, whereby the increase of one leads to the increase of the other. And as a result, we have rapid, exasperated heating of the world, causing climate change as a way to balance out all the things our activities have been doing to the world. And naturally, our world would continue to sustain and adapt to changes that occur in the world to be able to make the earth sustainable. And as a result, deserts are getting hotter during the day, colder during the night. Floods and droughts are occurring more and more often. Hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons are a common thing nowadays. Increased sea levels due to ice caps melting in the Arctic. Animal and plant species being endangered and being extinct. The marine life is dying, our corals are dying, the underwater sea currents are changing, landslides, avalanches, everything is reaching to a point of no return. Eventually, when all the ice caps will melt, we will be faced with another global pandemic. Do you really want to go back there? So there will be potential global pandemics by zombie viruses. Now, I don't actually mean zombie viruses. Like, I don't actually mean a virus that makes you into a zombie. Although it would be super cool to live in my own, fantasy world of The Walking Dead. Sadly, that is completely, what it is, fantasy. So these zombie viruses that are frozen from 100,000 years ago, from centuries ago, these zombie viruses will melt and cause havoc. We already see that there are climate migrants as lands disappear, lands appear. We have an economic crisis and everything will eventually go into turmoil. Dun dun dun. Okay, that's a bit, that's not very scary by my voice, but we're gonna keep the normal, the dun 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 voice. So total chaos is underway. I mean, it's already chaotic right now. If you're gonna be listening to my podcast, it's gonna get more and more chaotic. But everything's already chaotic, but you don't want more chaos, okay? So let me just tell you, total chaos is underway. If we don't walk towards slowing down the clock to impeding doom, we're dead. Or like not instantly dead, but we're gonna die together. We have approximately 7 years or less, depending on whether you're watching my podcast or not, to stop our earth from reaching the point of no return, the tipping point. And at the rate at which we are going, scientists predict that we will be there sooner than later. And if you're one of those people who want to be there later than sooner, well, tune into my next episode of What in the World, where I will be discussing my favorite greenhouse gases. I'm Raisa Ganji, your show host and channel owner, and you're watching What in the World. See you next week.